If you have watched another Forza Horizon 4 review, you may have heard some yada yada about how it's an open world racing game, the seasons change everything, an incredible experience. Enough, alright? It sounds like they were paid to play for like 20 minutes, read the briefing, and record the video. Jeez. This is gonna be a complete analysis from someone who actually plays the game and has been playing for years on end. So get ready, lay back, and enjoy the video. I'm gonna talk about the cars, the physics, the graphics and sounds, the tracks, the map, the game modes and activities, the progression through the game, customization, what you can do together with friends, and in the end, deciding whether this game is or isn't for you. You can rest assured that at this moment, I don't need to be writing other reports like some hasty journalist. Variety of cars. I know that many people buy car games wanting to drive a specific car. If this is the case, you can rest assured that the car you want to drive is likely, very likely actually, to be present in the game. This is due to the fact that it has almost 740 cars. This is not to mention that almost every week, the developers add a new car. Cars range from Ferrari supercars and Koenigsegg hypercars to three-wheeled microcars like the PLP 50. With such a wide spectrum of automobiles, the game includes numerous car categories which include JDM, affordable cars, hot hatches, racing classics, some modified supercars for the track, classic and current American muscle, off-road, even going on to reach obscure cars that almost nobody knows about. So let's cut to the chase. Here's the list of all the brands of car makers present in this Forza. If you want to take a closer look, you can go back and pause the video. In addition, here are all the models currently in the game, and it's worth keeping in mind that they are always adding new cars to the game, and will probably continue to do so until the next game in the franchise is released. In these lists, you may notice that the game now features Toyota cars, and that includes the almighty Supra, which was not present at launch. Despite that, you will not find your specific model for a rad 2008 Civic Si with the optional rear wing and mirrors. But you can find a similar model. This can be a positive point since other games have 30 versions of the same Miata, inflating their car count artificially. I'm looking at you, GT6. Physics and simulation. For me, the main reason for buying a car game is realistic physics. I know that there are two types of racing game players: those who have already experienced simulators and those who haven't yet. If you haven't, the next topic that addresses the graphics and sounds will be more relevant to you. But if you have already played other simulator or semi-simulator games, this includes Horizon 3, Gran Turismo, and even Assetto Corsa, rest assured that the physics of Forza Horizon 4 lives up to a good simulation with an arcade touch, but just enough. I would describe the physics simulation in this game as very good. It is not perfect like that of Assetto Corsa, but I am grateful that it is not. For those who play with the wheel, the experience is worse than AC and maybe Gran Turismo. It is slightly worse than Forza 7, but it is better than Forza Horizon 3 for sure. The point is that few play it on a wheel, since the game's best value lies in using a controller. In this case, the physics are in a perfect balance, not being so realistic as to spoil the gamepad gameplay, while it is not so arcade that it takes away the fun for more experienced players. As for drift, I also find it extremely enjoyable to do it on a controller, but that's not the case on the wheel, unfortunately being a very unpleasant experience. If you wanna drift behind the wheel, the best game is Assetto Corsa in my humble opinion. Graphics and audio. If the game has a good simulation, it excels in terms of graphics. The graphics are great, putting the game in a category of releases that focus on bringing realism and reflecting reality. And the graphics are beautiful with a natural look. While other games focus a lot on the use of filters, stylistic decisions for applying effects, and developing a different look, which has its charm and can be seen in the Need for Speed franchise, Horizon prefers to focus on mimicking the real world. The problem arises when we talk about audio. The sound design in the game is good when we listen to the sounds of nature, the atmosphere of the city and the festival, for example, and the sound effects of tires and impacts. But the quality is not the same when it comes to engine purrs. Although the game has different engine tones that are faithful to the number of cylinders and their layout, there is a lot of repetition of the same engine sounds to different cars of different brands and models. In addition, if you want to hear a different rumble, you will have to install a different engine, which immediately returns the sound to one of just over 10 standardized engine sounds. This goes a bit into customization, but the roar does not change with different exhausts, which is already present in games like the NFS Heat. For those who start playing the game, it may seem like it has a wide variety of songs, but over the course of just a few weeks, the music does get old and repetitive, and after a few months, we just drive around with the music off because we just can't take it anymore. Tracks. For those who like to race, the wide variety of tracks will be a positive aspect. The game has a large number of tracks, be it racing circuit or a sprint. These two types of tracks start to get quite varied once we consider the different types of racing in which we can compete. For example, it can be a road race on asphalt, or a rally race on dirt, mud, or even snow. It can be a street race at night, or it can be a cross-country where you don't even drive over streets and instead go up mountains, breaking fences, and crossing water streams. In addition to all of this, there's still the possibility of creating your own racing circuits, passing wherever you want, streets or not, and then sharing them with the world, downloading tracks from other players and enjoying this community. Also, recently there was an update that added another game mode called Super 7, in which you can create not only tracks, but also place objects, ramps, containers, and many other things to make your adventures even more varied and to your liking. With all that, I do believe you have plenty of tracks to enjoy. The map. The game map, I would say, is large enough. I've been playing Horizon 4 for years, and I can say that in the first few weeks, we are lost exploring the map. In the coming months, you will discover several unique features of the British landscape and begin to remember the places you have visited. And if you want to master all the tracks in the game and race as fast as possible across the map, a few years easily go by to learn all the details of the roads and streets. To further diversify, the seasons are an interesting addition to the game due to the fact that in the winter the map not only looks quite different, but you can unlock the chance to drive your car over the game's frozen lake, where I spent dozens of hours drifting at way more than 100 miles an hour. The other seasons, although not as unique as the winter, change the landscape visually and the tire's grip slightly. Activities. Forza Horizon 4 may have a simple premise, driving a car, but there are many activities in which you can take part. Among them, we have the free roam, where you can drive around and do whatever you want. I personally just hop in a car and drift aimlessly across the map, which I've been doing since Horizon 3, and that's what made me fall in love with the franchise. You can also compete in races, online or offline, in a group or alone, participate in games, which involve infected survival, a type of tag, among other games. You can buy businesses and do missions for them, which involve trying different types of cars, from luxury supercars to vans and special microcars. As you progress through the game, you unlock showcase events, which are cool to do, but only the first time you race against a fighter jet. Spread across the map, there are several stunts, which are jumps, drifts, speed areas, and the like. From time to time, a Forza Stun Live event appears, in which you participate in activities with an online group of players and earn points to buy special and hard-to-find items and cars. And when all of that stops being fun, you can join the Eliminator to prove you're the best and won't be eliminated. And to top it off, every week has its list of activities you can do to win exclusive cars and more. I think we can say there's a lot to do in this game, and we won't even talk about the things you can do with friends online, like put a cop paint job in your car and play cops versus robbers. Progression. As for progression, well, it doesn't exist in the game. If you're doing races for a certain type, rally for example, you will be unlocking more activities of the same type, no matter if you finish first or you finish last. This goes for many activities including stunts. So I don't think I'll ever finish the game, even after years of playing. I just don't like to race cross-country, so I never progressed on that line. And that's why I never finished the game. Basically, you can go as fast or as low as you want, you just need to increase the drive avatar difficulty in the menu to keep the races challenging to your skill level. So, there's absolutely no grinding at all. And for that reason, many players lose interest in the game. It doesn't have a very clear goal, but that's what I like about the game. You are free to do whatever you want, whenever you desire, and you don't have to suffer for hours on end doing something you don't want just to unlock one that you really do. You don't even have to suffer to get money in the game. After going through the tutorial and the first few races, you unlock the full game experience and can take advantage of the dozens of tips and money methods I have explained here on the channel during the last year. If you want to watch some, I'll show the playlist with all the best money tips on the videos and cards. Customization. If you're a tuner, at least deep in your soul like me, you really want to have customization options in this game. And there are. Basically, you have several possibilities for upgrading performance to enhance the power and handling of cars, and even some visual customization. However, they are nowhere near enough for anyone who wants to create their own unique dream cars and do modded car meets with friends. The visual mods you can put on the car are, for all cars, front wings and rear wings, for some cars, bumper kits, side skirts and hood, and only for few cars, a wide body kit. And of course, we can't forget the wheels and paint jobs. You have the option to create custom designs including vinyls and liveries like in a race car, a celebrity car, an Itasha, and any creation you can imagine and have the courage to create or download from someone who made it and shared it. Overall, I think you can have a bit of fun with the customization in the game, but it's definitely lacking a lot, especially when compared to other games like NFS Heat, which has numerous modifications of various aspects of the car, making the experience much more rich and unique. Friends and online. In the game, you can play online with your friends, but there's no split screen mode, a lag that has become very common in games. In any case, this is not so useful in the world today. With all the distancing, the split screen would not even be useful, but there are several things you can do with friends online. Just to give you some ideas, you can race with or against your friends, play almost all the activities that I mentioned that are present in this game with them, plus drift, organize car meets, pose for photos. Yes, the game has a camera mode with several image controls that I taught to use in another video. So, should I buy it? The final decision then lies with one of 4 questions. Depending on your answer to any of them, you will be happier buying either Forza Horizon 4 or another game, such as NFS Heat. First, if you can't stand terrible arcade physics, which is very far from the real world, being quite different from what you would expect from a real car, you need to go with Forza. Ultimately, its physics is almost simulation, being slightly arcade to the perfect spot to play with the controller. Now, if you haven't played many more serious games before, such as Gran Turismo, or don't like the realistic car simulation and just wanna have fun, modify some cars and race while drifting, choose Need for Speed for sure. But if you're a drifter and want to control the drift the way you would in a real car, you're inspired by Formula Drift or Initial D, or you want to learn and train drift in a way that will translate to a more serious simulator like Assetto Corsa, better choose Horizon 4. And lastly, but not leastly, if you want to customize your ride to the extreme, make your own unique car choosing every detail, having several options for each part of each car, and even tune the exhaust note, your only choice is NFS. If this video helped you, you can click the like button. Here you can see the best money tips.